basketball lifestyle. It's my lifestyle.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Grounds Crew. As always, I'm your host, Josh Gerst, along with my co-host,
Bill Rom. What up, guys?
Before we get started, as always, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us a review.
Smash
we
it.
appreciate your support. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, everything like that, at @the_Grounds Crew. Let's jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about today, Conor McGregor's first pitch.
So there's classically been some terrible first pitches in life.
Yes.
Definitely in the conversation.
As a top tier?
Top tier.
Was it as bad as 50?
So, yes.
Equally or worse?
Equally.
Okay.
I can't say that one horrible throw is any greater than another one. And you could see through his form, kind of like he didn't get himself turned enough to deliver. He tried to stay straight at it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And when you throw, you're gonna
I think
get some sauce to the side.
I feel like those kinds of things should give him at least one warm-up throw just off to the side somewhere.
But you know what? He was down in the basement and he was throwing.
Was he though?
He had to have been, right? If you watched what's his name? GW.
But I don't know.
GW
Not everybody
talks,
does that. I know it's
but
where you're
GW talks. He's down in the basement. He's throwing.
But I don't think everybody does that because he's Conor McGregor. He's going. He's taking pictures with people. He's doing whatever. I think they just walked him out there like, hey, just throw the first pitch. Just hit him in the chest. And I will give him this though. After the fact, he totally stood by it. He was like, the velo was there. I was adamant. I was vicious about it, but the accuracy wasn't great. But I will take it. I'm happy with it. I would say it was equidistant for where 50s went on the left side, and then he pulled it to the right side because they're both lefties. I would say yes. I would put them at equal.
I'm tracking. I'm giving eyes on both just so that
Somebody did an overlay on Twitter. I don't know who it was.
I'm giving eyes on both so that I can come back and I can check out what everything is. But watching Conor,
okay,
I think.
Overlay. Oh yeah, it's about the same.
So here's my thing. They're equal, but they're equal in different ways. Mm-hmm. And here's the deciding factor of why, to me, 50 cents is worse.
Okay. I agree.
This is why 50s is worse. 50 tried to loft it in, just let it get away a little bit, right? So it just he was kind of trying to lollipop it. It just got a little bit out. Mm-hmm. Conor's was nowhere near. However, the one for me identifying factor that makes 50s so much worse is that 50 was wearing a Mets jersey. Conor was in a full three-piece custom-tailored suit.
And he has a broken leg.
I don't care about the broken leg. That's just excuses.
That's fine.
But, you're genuinely in a suit that is made for you to walk around and look good, not for you to perform. 50 was wearing, the uniform that these guys all play professionally in. I know it can move. I've seen it in action.
Yep.
So Conor had great velo, like he said, but he's got dress shoes on. He's got all that man.
Way more hurdles.
Now, who came to the park least prepared? It was Conor.
For sure.
Conor, if you knew you were throwing the first pitch, why are you wearing a full, beautiful suit?
It's a great question.
Great question. And this is what we have to get Conor on the show to answer these questions.
And I think one other thing, too, with why I would also lean more towards 50 is Conor's throw, he just held on to it a little too long. 50s?
50 let it go a little too early.
But he did the thing where, I have really never thrown anything, and it's coming out the outside of my hand, the wrong way,
I think we've just had more years to analyze everything that happened on 50's pitch.
For sure.
If I slow-mo and I go back, Conor's probably not holding on the ball all that great.
Oh,
he probably has it full gap palmed in his hand or something. You know, that dude tried to knockout punch it. He threw a cross.
Yeah, he threw the big left.
Yeah, so again, my big thing is 50. They both were equally bad to me. The thing that makes it worse is that 50 has no excuse, and Conor has that I was wearing a full three-piece suit. That's
Fair
all.
enough.
That's the only differentiator I can make.
Let us know in the comments which one you think is worse.
Y'all know I'm right.
Speaking of big lefts and getting into brawls,
good transition right there.
The Rays and Blue Jays had a little benches clearing incident, and reason being was because previous game, there was a play at home plate, and I forget who the Jays catcher is, but his play card popped out of the sleeve or his pocket or whatever, and Kevin Kiermaier scooped it up just real casual and went back to the dugout, and I would say the majority of people were super up in arms about it, calling it like cheating, saying it was dirty, scummy, whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Scummy.
Yeah.
If he had picked and I have a perfect comp, and Dennis is smiling because he might know the thing I'm talking about right this moment. Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago, the Buffalo Bills played. I think they were playing against the Patriots, and somebody dropped their plays, their sheets of paper that had plays and things on them, and they blew out onto the field. And Tre'Davious White sprinted over, grabbed it, looked at a bunch of them, and then handed him over. And he was kind of laughing and playing it off like, yeah, I'm going to get your guys' entire game plan in the 8 seconds I had him. If he had picked it up and been like, and handed it back, he still probably would have gotten some info, but I would have probably let that slide as he's being funnier than he is, like actually
how much
doing
can
something.
You really retain?
You grabbed something and you walked with it. Now here's the other thing: are these two teams competing for like playoff positioning?
I mean, there's a very real possibility they play each other in the first round.
So it's cheating, and it's scummy because you got to use the context. My man brought it into his dugout for the entire goon squad to look at and say, "Yo, we got the answers to the test."
Yeah, and I saw somewhere on Twitter that it was like an unnamed source. They were like, if there's one card we don't want them to have, it's that one.
Yep.
Because it has everyone, how do we pitch to them, what are our signs, everything.
So it's like you have the answer key to a test.
Yep.
If the answer key to the test falls in front of me and I look at it real quick and I snag 5-10%, good for me. So nobody should have had that near me to get the answer key.
Yep.
Right? If I take the answer key home with me and study it with the homies, I've cheated.
Yep.
I've cheated profusely. If I look at it real quick, hand it in, yo, your answer key was right here. You probably shouldn't do that again.
Yep.
You know? That extra I pulled from it is the reason why you made a mistake. However, going home with the homies, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, definitely cheating. I was equating it to like when the Bills one was a good call, but also like when the Patriots were filming people, like just looking at their playbooks and stuff like that's you're getting all the answers and it's no bueno. So definitely, and I know after like next game they hit Kiermaier. And post game interviews they're like there's a very real possibility we see them in the playoffs and they're all looking forward to that matchup. And I think it's a very real possibility that they get there. Specifically because, and this comes into my next thing, the AL East wild card, or the AL wild card, I should say, which is coming down pretty much to 3 AL East teams. It's going to be very interesting, especially for the Yankees, because they are facing the Red Sox for 3 games next, 3 with the Blue Jays right after that, and then 3 with the Rays.
The Yankees are out.
Yeah.
And this is it's not even that I think that the Yankees will necessarily lose. The Yankees could take 2 out of 3 in each of those scenarios and still end up losing because, one, they still have ground they need to make up against the Red Sox. So ultimately, the Red Sox don't really have to worry too much because even if they went 2 for 3 against the Red Sox would still have 1 win up on them, right? So you're not going to have a better record than them. The downside for the Yankees is that the Blue Jays themselves, the Blue Jays are in a situation where they've got an easier schedule. I think they finished with 3 against the Orioles, right?
Yep.
So and who do the Blue Jays, Dennis? Who do the Blue Jays have coming up with their next series?
They have 3 against the Twins in Minnesota, and then they're home 3 against the Yankees, 3 against the Orioles.
So yeah, to me, you got a bad Twins team and a bad Orioles team in 67% of your final games.
And the Orioles, who historically have beat the Yankees in tough spots, but have rolled over for everybody else.
Yeah.
So not a great time for the Yankees to have their guys playing the Orioles.
Yeah. So I just see a world where, to me, the Yankees have to go 2 out of 3 in each of them to even remotely stand a chance. But they're really at this point just trying to keep the Blue Jays off their back. If the Blue Jays take 2 out of 3 in their series, just their series, and the Yankees even go 3-0 in the other 2 series, they might be out anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're the team they're trying to hold off is really the Blue Jays. Now I looked up something the other day and I peeped it. And I wanted to relay this, and I'm glad you put this in our notes today. The Blue Jays are only 6-run differential off from the Rays this whole season.
Yeah.
So they've been within 6 runs, plus minus. I think, Dennis, if you could pull up the plus minus run score for all those teams, I'm pretty sure that they're up around like a plus 170, 160, 170.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And they're only 6 runs behind the Rays. Meanwhile, the Rays have almost 10 more victories. That means to me the Rays have been lucky, and the Blue Jays to some degree have been unlucky. Now, we talked about it. I think the team you don't want to play, anybody, are the Blue Jays. So this last thing is really, to me, like, do the Blue Jays' young players have the it factor to put themselves over? And if they do, it is going to be a long, long, long decade for Yankees fans. Because
I think that the hiccup the Blue Jays had was early this season.
Yep.
They weren't in their home stadium. Like, they had a lot of,
Springer was out. So many different things.
Right, early on the season, I think that's where it came from. But yes, this second half, they've been unbelievable. And yeah, I would say the Blue Jays are that team.
And they're young, and they made the move for a pitcher, and they have their pitchers now. Like, they're loaded up in their pitching staff. Like, and they have a more balanced lineup of great players than the Yankees. And they're young. You know, you got the best power hitter is not in New York, right?
Yeah.
Vlad's the best power hitter in that division, and like Aaron Judge has held the title for a long time. Giancarlo's been in that conversation, but the dude who squares up the ball and mashes it the best is Vladdy.
Yep.
And they're gonna have to overcome that, because what are the Blue Jays gonna do this offseason? And then next year you got a full year of Springer, you got Vladdy, you got Bo, Simeon.
Yep. Robbie Ray's a free agent, but
they're bringing
as
him
much
back.
as they're gonna bring him back, as much as I want him to come to the Mets. But did you
coming
see that
back.
article, by the way? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. People write stuff sometimes. So one of the benefits that the Mets have, right, is that the Mets didn't sign Kiermaier Rocker. Now, we've talked about that on the show, what happened, what's the breakdown, what everything else is. The Mets only lose one draft slot position next year, and they get a pick at, I believe, 11 or 12 that replaces the Rocker pick. So if you sign an A free agent in the MLB, you have to give up a first-round pick to the team that you signed that player from. The reality is the Mets now have a cachet where they have a surplus of picks. They can go out and sign a surplus of guys with no problems. So if they go and they sign an A free agent, they're just going to give up a pick that they don't have. So the guy's whole thesis was they're going to give up their future for a present position. The reality is, we've talked about it on this show, if you're looking at the Mets minor leagues right now, you have 3 or 4 guys who are knocking on the door of needing a spot at the MLB level. Khalil Lee on the Mets has been underrated his entire career, and in the beginning of the year when he was a 22-year-old, he did not have a great start to his season with the Mets, right? He did not hit well at the MLB level.
Yeah.
But he turned 23 back in June. His current for this season, his OPS in AAA for the Mets in his age 22 season is a 938. So he is a high athleticism center fielder with a 938 OPS in AAA. That dude has been a guy who was a high selection. He needs a spot. Vientos has come up and just absolutely mashed in AAA as a 21-year-old. Third baseman, left fielder, first baseman. You've got Brett Beatty. He's at AA, mashing. Ronnie Mauricio came up to AA, mashing. Francisco Alvarez, still in high A, mashing. I think he leads that league in home runs in general. Why do you need more young? Yeah. Why do you need more young talent that you're developing for the future? You have it all about to hit again. This is the Mets when they had David Wright and they had Reyes, and they had all the pitching that came up all simultaneously.
Yep.
You don't need to layer in an amazing player every single year. You have to have pockets of success that you've developed players all at the right time. They look like they're on par. Drafting an 18-year-old in the first round isn't as valuable as signing a 26-year-old free agent who's a stud.
Yep.
Go win for 5 years. Worry about that other stuff later. So yeah, that was a dumb article. That was That was a clown question, bro.
Yep, definitely was the consensus there. That was ridiculous.
Did you want the run differentials for the
Yes.
AL East?
Yes.
So Tampa plus 178, Toronto plus 171, Boston's plus 84, the Yankees are plus 34.
The Yankees have no business, and this is the
Wow.
no business.
Oh, there's more.
I think the most interesting thing to look at going into the playoffs, Tampa at home is plus 129. On the road, they're plus 49. Toronto's plus 82 at home and plus 89 on the road.
They are
So
the
they're just
team
nasty
you
all
worry
around.
about. They are the team you worry about.
Yep.
I've been saying it, and I am holding to it. The team I don't want to play is Toronto. If you're a team that's in the playoffs, on either side, NL or AL, you do not want to see Toronto in the playoffs. Because that team could go the full hibachi run and light everybody on fire with all the tricks and everything else, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Hibachi.
Full hibachi run.
Hibachi.
Okay. Next thing, since we're still on the Blue Jays, I'm seeing a lot more people
It's a joke.
pulling for Vlad as MVP.
I can hear it.
I still hear a lot of people also being like, guys, Ohtani is a very good pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and also one of the best hitters. This is not a conversation. It's not a conversation.
Now, somebody tried to make the claim that, his pitching season, he's not actually that elite. He's just really good. But no guy with his pitching stats have ever won an MVP. So he hasn't been an MVP level pitcher. Would you say he's been an all-star pitcher? Well, yeah, sure, he's been an all-star level. So you're telling me the guy who's going to finish top 5 in home runs is also an all-star level pitcher? That's the only thing we need to talk about. He got 23 stolen bases. Did Vladdy have 1, 2, 3?
I want to say like 5.
That's
my guess.
And the other thing for me is, and we've talked about it, I agree, Vladdy's been great. Vladdy's not a plus defender. Right? So I can't add his defense as being a thing. He's literally coming in as a bat.
He has 4.
Right? He's coming in as a bat. So you're telling me his real value is that he can hit a ball. Right? Ohtani hits a ball, steals bases, and is your number 1 pitcher. It's not close. The other thing I think from a legitimate standpoint, though, about why it's not Vladdy is Trevor Siemian. What are his numbers?
Ridiculous. Just separately ridiculous.
Well, so that's the
Not
thing,
Trevor
right?
Siemian. Trevor Siemian's a
Marcus
quarterback.
Siemian.
Marcus Siemian, my bad. You guys know me in names.
Yep. Marcus Siemian this season is batting .267 with 41 bombs, 97 RBIs. He has an OPS of .878.
So he's going to steal. He's got 40-plus home runs.
Yep.
What team does he play for?
The Toronto Blue Jays.
He's going to steal votes from his own teammate, right? They're going to you have to look at them in context. And this is the MVP award. I can see him getting some votes. I can see Simeon getting some votes. I can see Judge.
Sal Perez.
I can see Judge getting some votes.
Yep.
I can see Perez getting some votes. It's effing Ohtani, and it's not if it's not a runaway 60 to 70+% goes to Ohtani. People got into their things too much.
And I understand not unanimous because there's so many people.
So many people having a great year. And he's he has fallen off with the bat in the second half.
Absolutely.
Which was the exciting part.
Which I think is why more people are like, well, hold on. Vladdy is 2 good games away from being a Triple Crown guy.
I get it, but guys, we're a start away. Ohtani has a 81%, 82% win percentage. When he pitches, they win 82% of the time for him. He is 9-2. He's sitting on his last start. He went 8 innings, I think. Right? Can we pull up his last start, Dietz? I'm pretty sure his last start, he went 8 innings, and he struck out close to double-digit guys and didn't get the win. Right? They actually lost the game.
A DeGrom.
He had a DeGrom start. But he's made 22 starts. In 123 innings, he struck out 146. His second half, he's been way better of a pitcher. It's not close to me. It's not even remotely in the ballpark, and he's done it while carrying a team to mediocrity by himself, right? We talk about Vlad and all them. You're protected up and down the lineup. We got Bo Bichette. We got Simeon. Like, you got Springer. Dude, you're covered up. Otani's been by himself. They're throwing him junk since the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's avoiding him. So it's going to be hard when you got nobody to protect you in a lineup. Deet's got me.
His last pitching line, so this was September 19th. It looks like 8 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts.
Guys, like, that's an elite pitcher.
Yep.
Right? That's a high 2, low 3 ERA. That's a number 1 pitcher. And that dude hit in that game. Like, he's a hitter. It's Ohtani, and you got everybody on this show knows very much so that I've been here on the Ohtani train forever.
In like secret denial about it. They don't want it to be true because of how ridiculous it is.
It's also the East Coast bias.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he plays on the West Coast. He has a 10 o'clock start. You don't see him play.
Yep.
You've forgotten how elite he is. And because he's not hitting home runs every other second like he was for a hot streak, right, everybody's forgotten that he also still just happens to be, like, filthy McNasty.
Yep. And, I think that's definitely the main point because the majority of people, especially on the East Coast, just see the highlights from the game.
Yep.
They only see the home runs he hits. So when there's no home run or he doesn't have 15 strikeouts all strung together, they're on some Instagram page. Yeah, they don't know that, he pitched 8 innings and is disgusting and has this splitter that is unhittable.
Yep. I gotta put up a highlight, and guys gotta watch him go 8 innings and strike out 10 people.
Yep.
Like, guys, that's
a hard ask.
That's a top 3 home run hitter in the American League. Is also a top 5 pitcher in the American League. Stop. He's the MVP. He's the MVP, and it's not close. Really though, we talked last week about a certain person in the National League, who I think next year is going to be the runaway MVP. I thought that he had a shot in NL this year. He had a little bit of a slow start. Now he's coming back alive, and he's back in the conversation. Juan Soto is now being considered for the MVP award.
Yeah?
He's back in the combo. He's currently got like the 3rd best odds to win the MVP.
I mean, that makes sense because Tatis has fallen off hard.
So
I didn't even put that on there. Hold on. Can we pause on that for a second? Tatis Machado thing. You saw that?
Woo, baby.
That was interesting to me.
I loved it.
A lot of reasons. Number 1, because I saw the growth in Manny Machado, which I was fired up about. That was really cool to see. I also found it super interesting, like, that there was a pretty sizable amount of, like, selfishness apparently coming out of Tatis in the dugout, and the fact that it was so publicly, or like, on everything.
Yeah.
Not a great look, and I think definitely will hurt his odds and his voting right now.
Well, so when we talked to Hunter Pence, I said that the Mets and the Padres are nearly identical. He thought I was wrong. I thought I was right. Turns out I was right, but for the wrong reasons. They've both fallen apart in the second half, and neither of them is going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And you have a situation where Tatis is now, it seems, believing his own hype, believing it, like reading his own press clippings, like, let me put on my flashy sunglasses, and I'm doing commercials, and I'm the face of the game. Let me make sure I win an MVP, right? And it's like, dude, you're still here to just win games.
Yep.
And Machado's been the selfish player before, so he knows, right? He's been that guy. He knows. He was on a losing team. He knows. So, like, I think that, like, I'm with you. He shows that up. But yeah, I think Tatis is out, and I think a guy like Soto is going to have a shot. It looks like it's going to go to Harper,
and I've actually, and I wanted to say this on the show, I am more leaning towards Harper now. Although Soto is definitely in the conversation as well. Now that we went over that last week, I'm full send into him being a top 3 guy. But I think Harper has continuously now made his case a little more firm than Tatis's, whose fall-off has been very real.
But you now have a situation where, since we last spoke, Soto's whole season OPS is over 1,000.
Yep.
So he was in the high 9s the last time we spoke. In the last week, my man jumped himself up into the 1,000 range.
Yep.
Now, what's Harper's currently sitting at? His OPS?
His OPS is 1051.
So 1051 to 1010 right now. And closing.
Yep.
Right? And what the big thing that I always say is you got to take park-adjusted ability into account. The Nationals play into a monster stadium, and he plays in a bandbox in Philadelphia that's known for letting people hit home runs. So who is the better player? Juan Soto. Who's got a better batting average? Juan Soto. Who's got a better on-base percentage? Juan Soto.
Yep.
Juan Soto is that dude. Now, I don't think he's actually going to win it because Harper's Harper, right? He's got that cachet stuff.
He's got more hits. He just has 7 less home runs.
Right. Again, what does that account to?
He also has a 6.9 WAR to Harper's 5.3.
Ooh. Did you just say WAR?
I did say WAR. I apologize.
No, I'm here for it. Listen, again, season to season, I like WAR because it gives me a representation of that year. Everybody's in similar situations, and it adjusts for the park. Juan Soto's been the better player. He has been.
I think it's just going to be harder.
Harper is going to be close to getting them to the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, the question is, the sooner the Phillies get eliminated from playoff contention, if they do, which I don't know if they will, right? The sooner or if they do get eliminated from playoff contention, that opens the door for Soto to walk back in.
It's going to be shortly because they're 4.5 back in the wild card.
But that's my point. As soon as they're eliminated, you can't say that Harper got them to the playoffs.
Well,
right?
So it's interesting. I saw a lot of people talking about how, we've had this conversation about the team that you play on matters.
Yep.
Are they winning?
Yep.
Have you been playing good when they're winning?
Yep.
But Mike Trout's won MVPs.
Yep.
And the Angels didn't do anything.
Yep.
They didn't do shit. So Juan Soto's team, not doing shit, having an amazing year. I
Yep.
don't think I feel like the discounting there shouldn't be a thing. And I think it will be.
And that's my thing. I'm here for, like, you got to win, right? Winning can give a sprinkle when we have equal.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I can go back and my problem with Trout is my man's not a winner, right? So, like, I look at this situation and I go, Juan Soto had his entire team traded away, and all he did was get better.
Yep.
If he continues the tear, what's his second half OPS? Like, if we pull up his splits, if we go to his, like, special page and we go, 2021 splits, I have to think that he's now looking at like almost a 1,300 OPS in the second half.
It's very possible.
And I'm gonna be the guy because I know how to get there quick.
I can never figure out how to get there. He's got it.
OPS in the second half of the season. Are you ready for this one?
I'm so ready.
12-17.
Woo!
Right, so second half.
Can I get Harper's also?
Yeah.
Second half, he's been the best hitter in the National League.
Mm-hmm.
And again, his OPS to some degree is minimized by the fact that he's not in a smaller park.
Mm-hmm.
You put Juan Soto in Philly, like his batting average would be something like 330.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I go back and I would say Juan Soto is a better hitter than Vlad Jr. Vlad Jr. plays in a division that's got smaller parks.
Yep.
Give me the numbers, Deets.
Yeah, Harper's also had a great second half. He's at 12-27.
And that's why he's in a
And
case for the MVP.
And we're closing.
What was Soto's?
12-17.
12-17?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's crazy.
Race.
Yep.
Race.
Yeah.
But I love it. Again, this is what baseball's about. It's about getting to the point that we can look at all the stats and we can debate them and interpret them the way that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's what the fun of this season has been, is that there's a lot to debate. But the one thing that I think is the craziest stat we pulled out today is that the Yankees have been lucky, not good.
Yeah.
Because they are only, plus 37 for the season? And they're neck and neck with Toronto, and Toronto's plus 171.
Yep.
They've been nearly 5 times better than you.
And they've been lucky enough now where it is literally their destiny's in their own hands.
Yep.
You guys got to play
Everybody's
fantastic for the next 9 games. You got to go 7-9.
Show me what you're about.
Yep, that's it.
By the way, Pete Alonso finally admitting the season's probably over.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't smile and sit back. You don't have it anymore, Pete. You guys will handle it. You didn't handle it. So what the urgency you didn't have then now looks buffoonish. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
What do you got, Deets? You got knowledge for me. I see it.
I just wanted to remind everyone that Toronto didn't even play in Toronto for most of the
Yeah,
season.
no, we said Buffalo.
Yeah.
They're in Buffalo, and that's one of the reasons why their
And
home
Florida.
road split's probably so good. Is they're seasoned on the road.
Yep.
They played more road games than anybody this year
Yep.
because your home games were road games.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? That's
Crazy.
the team you don't want to play.
Yep, absolutely.
Ruthless. All right, so I know you got something special for me.
I got
right now.
one
What's
last
up?
thing. It's more. It was a funny thing, and I forgot to ask it last week, and I want to ask it today. Think really hard about this. Okay?
So more than 7 seconds.
More than 7 seconds. I'll give you 7 seconds to think about it. I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. Do you think, as you are right now, that you could win the Little League World Series single-handedly?
No.
No?
No.
Why?
So, a couple of things. You got to clarify for me because this was an easy answer. What do you mean by single-handedly?
Okay, so there's a couple things that I would adjust. I saw this question somewhere on social media and it didn't go into it enough, so I will. You're playing by yourself.
Yeah, so nobody's out in the field with you.
No. But
Then no.
hold on.
Okay.
But when you hit, I will give you ghost runners so that you can just keep hitting.
Yeah.
Okay? I think it's not completely out of the question because you could just pitch and throw. I'll give you 75 miles an hour.
Okay.
And I think you dominate those kids.
What's the fastest velocity ever thrown in the Little League World Series?
I want to say it's going to be like
Guys, I got to do some research real quick.
I think the guy who originally I saw the video
Monet
from,
Davis was throwing 70 miles an hour.
cool. So if I give you 75, you're going to destroy everyone. Because that's like 100 at the Little League level. So I think you dice everybody up as a pitcher, and if you're trying to get be an insane person, you hit the first guy and then dominate everybody as a pitcher.
So listen, we could test this out. We can probably get a Little League team here locally that would be willing to let Josh Gerson do this. So I'm probably going to
He's gonna put the feelers out.
I'm probably going to make this happen. Yeah, so
like
now I'm seeing some guys with 77 miles an hour as the top. I'm seeing on 2016 80 miles per hour thrown at the Little League World Series. So here's the point that I'm making.
Okay.
I don't think you're such a good hitter against 80 miles an hour that all you're going to do is hit for 1,000%. Like you're going to get outs playing against the 9 kids.
Okay.
And they're going to field the ball and they're going to get your ghost runner out.
That's fine.
Right? So are you going to run down the first baseline?
Yeah, it's me to first.
So it's always you to first or
Yeah.
you to second or you around.
Yeah.
So you're also going to get fatigued over the course of a full game. So now we're adding in all the complexities and layers to what this is.
That's fine.
You will get fatigued swinging daddy hacks the entire time and having to run the bases for yourself each and every time.
They're short bases.
Second, these kids can still walk.
Sure.
Any kid here, if you throw 75 miles an hour, some of these kids have seen that and hit that in this league. If they hit any ball over you as the pitcher, inside the park home run or a triple, right? If they lay bunts down, you got nobody but you out here doing it. No, absolutely not. To win the Little League World Series. So this is the next thing. How did you get to the final? Did you have to play all the games alone? You're physically fatigued over a lifetime of doing this to get yourself to the final game. So any nut job out here who's not a professional player right this second would get sauced by 12-year-old kids who are good at the sport.
They are very good at the sport.
And I right now I'm going to set it up. We're going to film this, and I'm going to watch you get absolutely
Fun. That would be so much fun.
junked on by just a local Little League team.
Cool.
And I am ecstatic. When the kid who walks up who's 6'4" and is 12, like Jeremy Ruckert.
Sure.
When he was 13, he is now a player, guys who don't know, Jeremy Ruckert is a tight end for Ohio State Buckeyes. He was one of the best athletes at my gym, and he would not pick up a bat until the first day of tryouts, and he was all Long Island. He batted like 400. I think he struck him out in a game once.
Yes, I did.
Which is his claim to fame permanently, because that to me is the most impressive thing he ever did as an athlete.
Had 10Ks that game.
That kid was 6'3", 190 pounds when he was 13. My point to you is when he was 12, he was probably 6 foot tall, 165 pounds.
There's always that kid at the Little
and he
World
was
Series,
junk.
100%.
That kid was here local, so no shot.
That's
no
fine.
shot.
Listen, 100%. This was not my idea. I just thought it was a very funny question.
Do you think you could win?
I don't know. I think I would. I don't think I could actually win the whole thing, but I think I could at least win a game.
How much you willing to bet?
I'm not willing to bet anything because
Dang.
statistically speaking, you shouldn't win. All I have to do is hit a couple singles.
This goes to everybody here. We got to clip this as its own thing to put out there on the gram too, because this is too good. Could you solo and alone beat a group of 12-year-olds at the Little League World Series? And if you think so, we got an event that I'm going to be setting up soon
That would be so
to take
epic.
this down. So leave a comment below. Could you beat a Little League World Series team by yourself? Yes or no? And if yes, you got to tell me how and why.
Cool. Sounds good.
See you guys next time.
See ya.
Baseball lifestyle, it's my lifestyle.